All right, let's get right to it. Today is March 17, 2026, and this marks a brand new chapter for the digital world here in Brazil. The ECA Digital law is now officially in effect, and believe me, it's fundamentally changing the rules of the game for online services.
So if your company has any kind of digital footprint, and I'm talking a website, an app, e-commerce, even just social media profiles, this new regulation hits you directly. Let's break down exactly what this means for you and what you need to know right now.
So what are we talking about here? This is law number 15211 from 2025, known as ECA Digital. The goal is super clear: protect kids and teenagers online. But here's the kicker. Its reach is incredibly broad. It applies to any digital product or service that a minor could probably access in Brazil. And that's a key point. It doesn't matter if they're your target audience or not. If they can get to it, this law applies.
Okay, to make sense of all this, we've broken it down. We're going to walk through the three core pillars of this law: protection by design, content and advertising, and age verification. Then we'll get super practical and talk about what your company can do today. And we'll wrap up with a handy compliance checklist.
All right, let's jump into the first core principle. And this one is a massive shift in how digital products have to be built. It's called protection by design.
The main takeaway here is that safety and privacy can't be an afterthought anymore or an optional setting a user has to find. The law, specifically Article 7, now requires all services to operate with the highest level of privacy protection by default. This means you've got to collect as little personal data as possible, that's in Article 12, and every single design choice has to be guided by what's in the best interest of the child.
So what does that look like in the real world? Well, think about common features like geolocation or user profiling for targeted ads. Under this new law, those have to be switched off by default for younger users. You can't just have them automatically turned on when they sign up.
Okay, so it's not just about how you build your service. The law also takes a hard look at what's on it. This brings us to the second pillar: your responsibility for the content and commercial practices on your platform.
And the law gets really specific here, explicitly banning several practices. For example, Article 20 outlaws loot boxes in games. Article 22 completely forbids using profiling for targeted advertising aimed at kids. And Article 23 makes it illegal to monetize any content that portrays minors in a sexualized way. No gray area there.
And check this out. This new level of responsibility is proactive. Article 27 says that providers can't just remove harmful content when they find it. They now have an obligation to actively report it to the authorities. The burden of proof has definitely shifted.
Okay, now for what might be the most technically challenging change for a lot of companies: the new, much stricter requirements for age verification.
This is a total game changer. The days of that simple checkbox asking, "Are you over 18?" Well, they're over. Article 9, Paragraph 1 explicitly bans using simple self-declaration to access age-restricted content or services. It's just not good enough anymore. So, we're moving away from just taking someone's word for it to actually verifying it. This means companies now need to use technical, proportional, and auditable methods to confirm a user's age. The law doesn't tell you exactly which technology to use, but it does demand a real, defensible process. This could be anything from document verification to biometric estimation. The law also puts a lot more power into the hands of parents. Article 24, for instance, requires that accounts for users under 16 must be linked to a legal guardian. On top of that, Article 17 says you have to offer parental supervision tools that are easy to find and use. And Article 18 even requires you to provide clear metrics, like screen time, to that parent.
Okay, so we've covered the what. Now let's get down to the how. What are the concrete, immediate actions your company needs to be taking starting today?
First up, review your entire user journey and all your privacy settings. Next, implement a robust age verification system, something that's more than just a checkbox. Third, update your content moderation policies. You'll also need to build or improve your parental controls, switch off data profiling for minors for commercial use, and, as Article 32 mandates, set up clear channels for users to make complaints and reports.
So, this is the big question you should be asking inside your company right now. And to help you answer it and give you a clear path forward, we've put together a final checklist.
Think of this as a strategic guide for your internal compliance efforts. We've broken down this big task into more manageable areas.
Number 1, governance. You need to assign who's responsible internally and review all your privacy policies. Number 2,
product, and operations. Map out your risks and redesign your service for that privacy by default principle. 3. Marketing and content. Audit all your campaigns and content policies. 4. Age verification. Find a solution that works for you. And finally, number 5, and this one is so important, evidence. Document every risk analysis and every decision you make to prove you're compliant.
The key thing to remember here is that getting compliant with ECA Digital isn't a one-and-done project. It's an ongoing commitment. And don't forget, documenting your efforts is just as important as actually doing them. Really, the best way to navigate this new digital reality is to start reviewing, adapting, and documenting your processes right now. Because building a safer digital environment, well, as of today, that's officially the law.